Aliens pleaded for aid. Then Deathworlders emerged from the dark. Humanity had grown used to that silence, a constant companion in the vast reaches of space. But this night, the quiet was broken by an unusual signal. Captain Alara Voss stood on the bridge of the starship Ardent Horizon, her eyes fixed on the holographic display that floated in the center of the room. Streams of data danced across the screen in colors she didn't fully understand, yet the message beneath it was clear. A plea. It was not in any human language. The signal carried strange patterns, pulsing with urgency. Their linguistics AI worked tirelessly, translating the alien syntax into something comprehensible. "Help, our world predators cannot survive alone." The words were fragmented, almost trembling with fear. Yet despite the imperfection of the translation, the meaning was undeniable. An intelligent species was in danger, and they had reached out to humanity. Alara leaned forward, her hand brushing the smooth edge of the console. Her crew, a mix of scientists, engineers, and soldiers, gathered silently behind her. They had seen many strange signals in their careers, but the emotional weight of this one was unlike anything else. "This is not a test," she said, her voice steady, though a twinge of tension hid beneath it. "Somewhere out there, a civilization is pleading for our help, and I believe they are not exaggerating." Her second-in-command, Commander Rillan Kane, frowned. "Captain, we don't know what we are dealing with. The signal shows extreme planetary instability, chemical storms, heavy radiation, massive predators. Our fleet scans indicate the environment is hostile to humans. We could lose people just landing there." Alara's gaze remained fixed on the holographic projection of the alien world. It was small, rocky, and mostly covered in dark forests. Enormous shadows moved across the surface in ways that made the human sensors shiver. "And if we do nothing?" she asked. "Do we just let them die because we are afraid?" Silence fell. It was a question none of them wanted to answer, but all understood the truth. Humanity had faced impossible odds before. They had explored worlds no one thought they could reach, survived harsh environments, and adapted to conditions that were lethal. Lieutenant Arya Sun, the ship's lead xenobiologist, stepped forward. "Captain, we can't ignore this. These creatures, they are intelligent. And they are terrified, but their predators are far beyond what we have encountered in simulations. We need to prepare carefully, but I vote we go." Alara turned to her crew. "Prepare the landing teams, full reconnaissance first. We will approach cautiously, but we will not abandon them." As orders went out, the crew of the Ardent Horizon moved with precision. Robots and drones were readied for the descent. Protective suits were checked and double-checked. Tactical teams ran simulations of possible predator encounters. Humanity had always been resilient, but this would test them in ways they could not yet imagine. Hours later, the ship left the calm orbit of a nearby habitable moon and began the descent toward the alien planet. The atmosphere was thick, glowing faintly as the ship pierced it. Lightning flashed across the skies, painting the dense clouds in ghostly white. "Brace for turbulence," the pilot warned, gripping the controls. The ship lurched violently, tossing crew members against harnesses. The storm outside was more powerful than any they had faced, yet inside there was a strange sense of unity, a shared determination that nothing could shake. Finally, the storm passed, and the planet's surface revealed itself. Towering forests stretched endlessly in every direction, twisted and alien, with trees that shimmered with metallic hues under the strange sun. Mountains rose sharply, their jagged peaks disappearing into low-hanging clouds, and everywhere there were signs of life. Large, shadowy shapes moved between the trees, faster than the eye could follow. Arya scanned the readings. "Captain, these are apex predators. Their hunting patterns are efficient, intelligent, and they're huge, larger than anything on Earth. And they're fast, much faster than us." Alara's jaw tightened. "Then we proceed carefully. We land the drones first. We observe, and we don't take unnecessary risks. Humanity survives because we adapt. That's what we will do here." The landing team deployed into the alien forest. Drones hovered silently above the treetops, cameras transmitting real-time images back to the ship. Every movement of the predators was captured. Sleek, armored bodies gliding over terrain, eyes that glowed faintly in the shadows, tails whipping with incredible speed. It was terrifying, yet fascinating. The aliens who had sent the signal were nowhere in sight. It was as if they had retreated into the dense forests, hiding from both the predators and any observers. "Captain," Arya said, pointing to a clearing visible in the drone feed. Look. Signs of habitation. Structures, although fragile and organic. Whoever lives here is advanced enough to build shelters, but they're clearly small in number. And they've left this open area almost like a signal. Alara nodded. We go in, but only small teams. Take all precautions. Remember, we are guests in their world. They are scared, and we must not make it worse. The ground team descended into the clearing. The air was thick, heavy with unfamiliar smells, sweet, acrid, and metallic all at once. The aliens revealed themselves gradually. They were fragile-looking, bipedal, with elongated limbs and large eyes that reflected the sunlight. Their skin was patterned with iridescent scales that shimmered like liquid silver. They froze at the humans' arrival, fear evident in every movement, yet the humans did not rush forward. They lowered their weapons, showing hands open in peace. One of the aliens stepped forward, trembling. Through the translator, the plea repeated itself. Predators, they take everything, we cannot fight, help us. The humans nodded. We are here to help, Alara said. Her voice was calm but firm. We will do what we can. Suddenly, a loud screech echoed from the forest. The ground shook as enormous shadows moved closer. The predators had noticed the intruders. The aliens screamed and the humans readied themselves. But the predators were cautious, circling, testing, not yet attacking. Alara whispered to her team, observe, learn, and adapt. We can survive if we think like them. Remember why we are here. The first skirmish was minor, a test by the predators. One of the humans had to dive out of the way as a massive claw tore into the ground where she had been moments before. The predators moved with intelligence, avoiding traps, reading human movement patterns. But humanity's ingenuity shone through. Improvised barriers, quick thinking, and teamwork allowed the landing party to retreat safely, guiding the aliens back to relative safety. As night fell, the alien world transformed. Bioluminescent plants illuminated the forest with soft light, and distant sounds of predators echoed in the darkness. The humans and aliens huddled together, forming a fragile alliance. Alara looked at the alien leaders and said, we will survive this, not because we are the strongest, but because we think, we adapt, and we do not give up. Humanity has faced the impossible many times before, and we will face it here together. The aliens watched her with awe. For the first time, they saw not just visitors, but protectors, creatures willing to risk themselves to save another species. Somewhere in the dense forest, the predators observed silently. But for now, the humans had earned a small victory, trust, hope, and a foothold in a world that seemed determined to kill everything. And so, the first night ended with cautious optimism. Humanity had arrived not as conquerors, but as allies. The cry for help had been answered. And yet, even as the stars shone above, there was a sense that this was only the beginning. Because the forest was alive, and it was hungry. The alien forest was quiet in the early hours, but it was a false calm. The human landing team, guided by Captain Alara Voss, moved carefully through the dense undergrowth. The air was thick and humid, carrying strange scents that no human had ever smelled before. Every rustle, every shadow made the soldiers tense their muscles, ready for the unexpected. The aliens, still trembling from their first encounter with the humans, followed at a cautious distance. Their large eyes darted around, taking in every detail. They spoke in soft whispers through the translation devices, telling humans about the predators that had haunted their world for generations. They come from the shadows, one alien said. Its voice was thin, trembling. Silent, clever, they learn, they never stop. Alara nodded, taking careful notes as she observed the aliens' expressions. We will understand them, she said, and then we will find a way to stop them, together. Arya's son, the xenobiologist, knelt to examine some strange tracks in the mud. They were massive, bigger than any animal on Earth, but the prints were precise, almost delicate. These predators, she said, they move like hunters who understand their prey. They adapt quickly, and they are fast, extremely fast. Rillan Kane, the commander, frowned. We should set up a perimeter. If they catch us off guard, we could lose everything. Alara's voice was calm but firm. We do not run, we observe, we learn. That is how humans survive. Let's move carefully, but do not fear them more than necessary. As they moved deeper, the forest grew darker. Towering trees blocked the sunlight, and thick vines twisted like serpents around every branch. Strange flowers glowed faintly, illuminating the shadows in soft blues and greens. The sounds of the forest were constant. The rustle of leaves, the chirping of alien insects, and occasionally, a distant roar that made everyone freeze. Suddenly, movement caught Arya's attention. A predator had been watching them, crouched low behind a tree. Its eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the bioluminescent plants around it. Its body was long and armored, with sleek limbs built for speed. Its tail swayed gently, almost hypnotically, as it observed the humans. "Captain," Arya whispered, "it's studying us, waiting." Alara nodded. "We do not engage. Let it watch. Every move we make now is a lesson. Remember, humans survive because we adapt. Watch and learn." The predator stayed hidden, but its presence was clear. It was intelligent, aware of every step, every breath. Humanity had never faced creatures like this before, but they had faced impossible odds. They had survived on harsh planets, in frozen wastelands, and in uncharted space. This was another challenge, and they would meet it. As the humans continued their cautious advance, they came across signs of alien habitation. Simple structures made of woven plant fibers and hardened sap created small shelters scattered through the forest. Smoke rose from tiny chimneys, evidence of cooking fires. The aliens had been living in fear, hiding from predators while trying to maintain some semblance of life. The humans and aliens moved slowly through the village. The aliens pointed out areas where their people had been attacked, showing marks on trees where predators had slashed their claws and nests where young had been taken. The stories were chilling, yet the humans listened with patience, taking mental notes. Rillan Kane frowned. "They need protection immediately. If these predators return, the aliens will not survive another night without human assistance." Alara nodded. "Then we give it to them, but carefully. We cannot fight them head-on yet. We must use strategy, traps, and knowledge." Arya knelt beside one of the shelters. "Captain, look at this. The predators are not just hunting for food, they are studying the aliens. They understand patterns, behaviors. They adapt to defenses. This is not mindless aggression, it's calculated." Alara's jaw tightened. "Then we become smarter. We learn faster. That is what humans do. We will teach these aliens to survive with us, not just because of us, but with us." The first predator attack came at dusk. The humans had barely finished setting up improvised barriers and simple traps made from local materials and human technology when a screech pierced the air. Trees shook violently as the predator leaped into the clearing. Its claws ripped through the barriers, its eyes locked onto the humans and aliens alike. The aliens screamed and scattered, but the humans moved with precision. Using motion sensors and portable force barriers, they managed to divert the predator into a trap. The creature struggled, but it was temporarily contained. The humans could see the fear in the eyes of the aliens, fear of the predator, yes, but also a growing awe of the humans' ability to act quickly, think clearly, and protect them. Alara stood in the middle of the clearing, her pulse steady. "Observe," she told the aliens. "Do not panic. We will survive, watch, learn, and remember." The predator finally broke free, retreating into the shadows. It had been tested and had learned something as well. This was not easy prey. That night, the humans and aliens worked together to reinforce the village. They created simple alarms from twigs and metal, trip wires that would alert them to predator movements, and safe zones where the aliens could hide if attacked. As the alien leaders watched, they began to imitate human strategies. They practiced moving quietly, using their senses to detect movement and coordinating with each other. For the first time in generations, they felt a sense of hope. Alara spoke to them quietly. "You are not alone. We will face this together. You will survive because you adapt, and you will teach your people to adapt as well. That is the strength of intelligence and courage." The humans ate little that night, sleeping lightly in shifts, listening to every sound. The predators were patient, always observing, waiting for mistakes. But the humans had learned to adapt. They studied the terrain, using natural cover and camouflage, predicting predator behavior and responding with clever traps. The aliens, inspired by human confidence, began to assist actively. They helped set up barriers, create alarms, and even distract predators when necessary. It was not easy. The predators were relentless. But together, humans and aliens began to turn the forest into a place where survival was possible. Over the next several days, the humans continued to teach, observe, and adapt. Every predator attack was a lesson. Every mistake was noted and corrected. Humanity's ingenuity shone in every action. using environmental traps, predicting predator paths, and coordinating complex strategies. Arya smiled as she watched a small alien family move safely through the forest using human guidance. "Captain," she said, "they are learning. They are actually learning to survive in a way they never could alone. We are making a real difference." Alara nodded, her eyes scanning the dark forest beyond the village. "Yes, but we must remain vigilant. This is only the beginning. The predators are dangerous, and we do not yet know the full extent of what this planet holds. But humanity has always faced the impossible, and we will do it again." That night, as the humans and aliens huddled together in their reinforced shelters, a new understanding formed. Fear was no longer paralyzing, it was motivation. The predators may have been terrifying, but humans had shown that courage, intelligence, and cooperation could turn even the deadliest situation into survival. Outside, shadows moved silently among the trees. The predators watched, adapting, learning. But humanity had already taken the first step. They had survived the initial encounter, protected the aliens, and begun to teach a frightened civilization that hope was not lost. And deep within the forest, in places too dark and hidden to be seen, a new threat stirred. The predators were not the only hunters on this world. Something even more intelligent, more dangerous waited, watching, planning, and ready to challenge the humans and their alien allies in ways no one could yet imagine. For now, the night was quiet, but it was a fragile quiet like the calm before a storm. And humanity, as always, would be ready to face it. The alien forest was alive with sounds, some beautiful, like the soft glow of bioluminescent plants humming in the night, and some terrifying, like distant roars that echoed through the towering trees. For the humans of the ardent horizon and the aliens they had sworn to protect, the forest had become a battleground. Captain Alara Voss stood at the edge of the village clearing, her eyes scanning the shadows beyond. The first predator attacks had tested them, but now humanity was taking control. They would not wait to react, they would strike smartly and strategically, turning fear into action. Arya's son knelt beside a holographic map projected onto the ground, outlining predator paths based on observations from drones. "Captain, these creatures are clever," she said. "They study patterns, they avoid danger, and they attack where we are weakest. But we can use that against them. If we predict their behavior, we can lure them into traps." Alara nodded. "Good. We will use every advantage, our technology, our intelligence, and our courage. We will turn this forest into a place where humans and our alien allies can survive." "Let's move." The first step was to teach the aliens basic defensive strategies. They began practicing signals for alerting one another, silent movements to avoid detection, and coordinated escapes through safe paths in the forest. At first, the aliens were hesitant, uncertain if they could mimic the humans' skill. But they quickly learned, inspired by the calm confidence of their protectors. One afternoon, while scouting the forest perimeter, a small patrol led by Commander Rillan Kane spotted a predator hunting near the edge of the village. It moved silently, its muscular body blending with the dark foliage, its glowing eyes fixed on its prey. "Wait," Kane whispered into the comlink. "Do not engage yet, observe its pattern." The humans watched carefully. The predator circled, tested the perimeter, and then paused near a cluster of alien shelters. Kane signaled, and a hidden net of energy barriers snapped into place, forming a protective zone. The predator hissed, confused, and tried to attack again, but the humans had anticipated its moves. With precise coordination, they herded it into a natural ravine where it could not reach the village. The aliens stared in awe. "How?" one of them asked. "We could never do this." Alara smiled gently. "You can with guidance. Fear is powerful, but knowledge is stronger. You learn, you adapt, you survive. That is what humans do, and now what you will do too." Over the next days, humans and aliens worked together tirelessly. They reinforced the village with strong barricades made from local materials enhanced with human technology. They set traps that took advantage of the predators' predictable movements, and they established lookout posts high in the alien trees, giving them a bird's-eye view of approaching threats. At night, the humans practiced drills with the aliens. They simulated predator attacks, teaching everyone to remain calm under pressure. At first, mistakes were frequent. Aliens panicked, traps were misused. But the humans corrected each error patiently, demonstrating that preparation and teamwork could overcome even the most frightening adversaries. Then came the second predator attack. This one was larger, faster, and more aggressive. A group of predators descended on the village as if testing the humans' defenses. Their claws tore at barriers, their cries echoed through the trees, and their eyes glowed with intelligence. Alara and Kane coordinated the humans with calm precision. Focus on traps first. Keep the aliens inside safe zones. Use the barriers to slow them down. Watch and adapt. The battle was tense. Humans triggered hidden nets that immobilized some predators, while others were lured into pitfalls disguised by the forest floor. The aliens followed human instructions perfectly, moving silently, guiding the predators and avoiding danger. One predator managed to breach a barrier, rushing toward a cluster of alien shelters. Arya fired a small energy pulse to redirect it. It staggered, recalculated, and tried again, but the humans anticipated this as well. A second pulse, combined with a tripwire, forced the predator into a narrow canyon where it could no longer attack effectively. The aliens cheered, their voices trembling with a mixture of fear and relief. "You are stronger than we imagined," one said. "And we can fight now too," Alara allowed herself a brief smile. "Not just fight, survive, that is the difference." As night fell, the humans analyzed the day's events. Every predator's movement, every attack pattern, and every mistake had been recorded. They used this information to improve the village's defenses, teaching the aliens new strategies and refining their own. Humanity was not just reacting. They were planning, adapting, and turning a dangerous world into a challenge they could meet. The following morning, Alara led a small team deeper into the forest to study predator nests. They needed to understand these creatures fully if they were to protect the aliens. The forest grew darker and more alien as they moved further in. The trees twisted unnaturally, some with bark that glowed faintly in pulsing patterns. Strange vines reached out like tentacles, and the air carried a sharp, metallic scent. Arya examined the first nest carefully. It was enormous, built from twisted branches and hardened sap, lined with the remains of previous prey. "Captain, they store food, and they teach the young how to hunt," she said. "This is more than instinct. They have intelligence comparable to large predators on Earth, but sharper. They learn quickly, remember, and adapt. We must be careful." Alara nodded. "We respect them, but we cannot let them control this world. Humanity survives because we adapt. And that is what we will teach these aliens as well." The humans continued scouting, placing hidden sensors and studying predator patterns. Each day, the village became safer. The aliens moved with confidence, guiding humans through the forest to places of danger and opportunity. Together, they set traps, reinforced barriers, and created early warning systems. One evening, while preparing for a night watch, a group of predators attacked simultaneously from multiple directions. This was no ordinary hunt. It was coordinated, smart, and aggressive. The humans realized that the predators were learning from previous encounters. Humanity's ingenuity and the aliens' growing skills were being tested like never before. Alara and Kane quickly organized the response. Humans used the environment to their advantage, collapsing trees to block predator paths, luring them into traps with carefully placed bait, and using portable force barriers to protect the aliens. The aliens acted as scouts and guides, moving silently through the forest, distracting predators when necessary and signaling the humans when danger approached. Despite the chaos, humanity's calm intelligence prevailed. The predators, though fierce, were outmaneuvered by humans' planning and coordination. By dawn, the forest was quiet again, and the aliens had survived their first coordinated assault. Arya checked the survivors. "Captain, they are learning. They see now that intelligence, planning, and teamwork can overcome even creatures stronger than themselves." Alara looked at the alien leaders. "This is only the beginning. You will survive because you adapt. You will protect your people because you learn. And together, we will face whatever else this world throws at us." That night, the aliens gathered around small fires in the village clearing. Their large eyes reflected the warm light, and their voices trembled as they recounted the humans' actions. For the first time, they did not speak with fear, they spoke with hope. One young alien asked Alara, "Will they come again, the predators?" Alara smiled gently. "Yes, and when they do, we will be ready. We are not just visitors here, we are your allies. Together, we will survive and we will thrive." In the shadows of the forest, the predators retreated, but not without learning. They had observed, adapted, and realized that their prey was no longer defenseless. Humanity had arrived, and with them a new kind of threat awaited the predators: intelligence, creativity, and unwavering courage. Yet, unknown to the humans, deep in the darker regions of the forest, beyond the known predator territories, something stirred. Larger, more intelligent, and far deadlier than the predators, the hidden hunters observed silently. They were patient, calculating, and curious about the new invaders, humans and their alien allies. For now, the humans had earned a temporary victory. The aliens had survived, learned, and begun to fight alongside them. Humanity's ingenuity and bravery had turned fear into a lesson. But the forest held secrets yet to be revealed, secrets that would test every skill, every plan, and every ounce of courage they possessed. And so, as the first light of dawn filtered through the twisted canopy, Alara gazed into the forest with determination. Humanity had faced the impossible before, and they would do it again. The predators were clever, but humans were smarter, faster, and more adaptable. And whatever awaited them in the darkness, they would face it together. Because humanity always found a way. The forest had grown quiet after the last predator attacks. For the humans of the Ardent Horizon and the alien villagers, it felt like a fragile victory. But the quiet was deceptive, a thin veil hiding a deeper danger that waited in the shadows. Captain Alara Voss walked among the alien shelters, inspecting the reinforced barriers and traps they had set. The aliens had begun moving with confidence now, their fear replaced by cautious vigilance. Every day they learned more, and every day humanity's ingenuity seemed to inspire them. Arya Sun examined data from the drones. "Captain," she said, "the predators are changing their patterns. They are learning from us, yes, but there's something else. Something larger moving in areas beyond our scans, something intelligent." Alara frowned, her gaze narrowing. "Show me." The holographic display revealed massive movements deep in the forest, in areas so dark that even the advanced drones struggled to see. The shapes were enormous, far bigger than the predators. They moved deliberately, avoiding the humans' traps, observing, learning. Rillen Kane's voice was tense. "Captain, these are not normal predators. They are Deathworlders, legendary hunters of this planet. We thought the forest was just dangerous because of the smaller predators, but these—" He paused, swallowing. "These creatures are something else entirely." Alara's jaw tightened. Humanity had faced terrifying creatures before, on uncharted worlds, in frozen wastelands, and in asteroid fields filled with deadly hazards. But she knew instinctively that the Deathworlders were on another level. They were larger, faster, and smarter than anything humanity had encountered. And now they were aware of the humans' presence. "We adapt," she said quietly. "We survive, that is what humans do. And we will do it again." The first encounter came at dusk. A low, rumbling vibration ran through the forest floor, shaking the village slightly. The humans and aliens looked up as enormous shadows emerged from the thick trees. The Deathworlders were massive, their bodies armored with thick chitinous plates. Long limbs moved with precision, and their glowing eyes scanned the clearing. Unlike the predators, these hunters did not rush in blindly. They observed, studied, and planned. Alara barked orders. "Everyone inside safe zones. Activate barriers. Use the traps we've prepared, but be ready to improvise. These are not ordinary hunters. Every move counts." The Deathworlders circled the village, testing defenses like a calculating mind playing chess. They leapt over barriers, tested nets, and even triggered some traps, but quickly adapted, avoiding any that seemed dangerous. The humans realized that brute force alone would not be enough. Strategy, coordination, and creativity would be their only hope. Arya and the xenobiologists worked with the aliens to create distraction devices, flashing lights, noise generators, and decoys. These were designed to confuse the Deathworlders, force them into specific areas, and give humans and aliens a chance to strike. The first attack began in earnest when one Deathworlder lunged toward the village. Its claws ripped through the outer defenses, but humans responded immediately. Energy nets fired from concealed turrets wrapped around its limbs, slowing it enough for humans to use the environment against it. Trees were toppled to block its path, and deep pits lined with sharpened spikes redirected it away from the villagers. Despite the chaos, the aliens remained calm under guidance. They had learned quickly. Young aliens guided children and elders into safe zones, while others worked with humans to manipulate the traps. Humanity's patience and teaching had turned fear into coordinated action. But the Deathworlders were relentless. More emerged from the shadows, larger and faster, coordinating their attacks as if communicating silently with one another. They flanked the humans, forcing them to split their defenses, testing every plan they had made. Alara's mind raced. We cannot fight them directly. We need to outthink them, use the environment, predict their patterns, and strike where they are weakest. The humans devised an ingenious plan. Using their knowledge of predator behavior, they led some Deathworlders into a canyon where a natural avalanche could be triggered. Others were lured into areas filled with swinging barriers and nets that confined their movements. The aliens assisted by guiding the hunters, making the plan possible. One Deathworlder managed to break free from the traps and charged toward the humans directly. Rillen Kane and a small strike team fired energy pulses while simultaneously collapsing a series of fallen logs to block its path. The creature roared, frustrated, but the humans did not waver. Every action was precise, every movement calculated. Alara moved with the humans and aliens, coordinating their efforts in real time. "Do not panic. Observe, adapt, and act," the forest echoed with the sounds of battle. Crashing trees, predator roars, alien cries, and human commands filled the night. Yet amidst the chaos, humans remained calm, their adaptability and quick thinking turning what could have been a massacre into a carefully managed defense. By dawn, the first wave of Deathworlders had retreated. Not defeated entirely, but tested, confused, and wary of humans' ingenuity. The aliens looked at their protectors with newfound respect. "We have never seen such strength, not in battle, not in courage," one whispered. Alara looked at the survivors, both human and alien. "Strength alone does not make us survivors. Intelligence, cooperation, and courage do. Today we showed these creatures that we are not easy prey. We adapt, we learn, we survive." But even as relief settled over the village, Arya spoke with concern. "Captain, the Deathworlders were learning from us. They observed everything, our traps, our movements. They are smarter than we thought. This is not over. They will return." Alara nodded grimly. "Then we prepare. We make every day a lesson, every action a trap, and every strategy better than the last. Humanity survives because we do not quit. We will survive this planet, and we will protect these aliens." Over the next days, humans and aliens reinforced their defenses further. They set up hidden observation posts, created escape tunnels, and used the natural terrain to their advantage. Every predator, every Deathworlder, every attack became a learning opportunity. Humans taught the aliens how to observe patterns, predict movements, and react intelligently. One day, while scouting a river deep in the forest, Alara noticed something remarkable. The aliens had begun improvising strategies on their own, without direct human instruction. They were using camouflage, setting traps, and communicating silently through gestures and signals. Humanity's influence had awakened their natural intelligence and courage. "That is what makes us strong," Alara said quietly. "Not just our technology, not just our strength, but our ability to think, adapt, and inspire others to do the same." That night, while humans and aliens rested, the Deathworlders regrouped. They were patient, calculating, and intelligent. They had learned that humans were not like ordinary prey. They could outthink predators, anticipate movements, and survive where others would fail. And now, the hunters were planning, preparing for a new strategy, testing the humans in ways they had never expected. Alara stood at the edge of the village, looking into the dark forest. The wind carried distant roars, the sound of creatures waiting and observing. Humanity had survived the first wave, taught the aliens to defend themselves, and even outsmarted the predators. But the Deathworlders were far more dangerous, and they would test every ounce of courage, every strategy, and every bond between humans and aliens. "We face the impossible," she said to her team, her voice firm. "But humanity survives the impossible. We adapt, we learn, and we endure. And together we will survive whatever this forest throws at us." The aliens, inspired by humans' unwavering confidence, nodded. They were no longer just victims, they were allies, learners, and fighters. And together, humans and aliens prepared for the next challenge, knowing that the Deathworlders would return with even greater cunning. As the forest settled into an uneasy calm, one thing was clear: the real battle had only just begun. And humanity, as always, would face it head-on, using intelligence, courage, and adaptability to turn fear into victory. Because the forest was alive and so were humans, and they had a way of surviving where others could not. The forest seemed to hold its breath. After days of relentless vigilance, the humans and aliens of the village knew that the Deathworlders were planning a final, decisive strike. The creatures were intelligent, patient, and adaptive. They had studied every trap, every strategy, and every movement of their human and alien opponents. Captain Alara Voss stood on a ridge overlooking the village, her eyes scanning the darkened treetops. Below, the aliens worked tirelessly, reinforcing shelters, setting traps, and coordinating signals. Humanity had taught them well. Every alien, from the smallest child to the eldest leader, moved with purpose and confidence. Arya's son approached, holding a holographic map. Captain, I've identified 3 main approaches the Deathworlders could use. If they coordinate, they could strike from all sides simultaneously. But if we predict their paths, we can funnel them into traps and defend the village effectively. Alara nodded. Good. We turn their intelligence against them, predict, adapt, and control. Humanity survives because we think faster, work together, and never give up. Rillan Kane joined them. Captain, the villagers are ready. They've learned faster than I expected. Their instincts are sharper now, and they coordinate well with humans. If we work together, we might actually hold them off. Alara's eyes met each of their gazes. Then we do more than hold them off. We win. Not through brute strength, but through intelligence, courage, and unity. As dusk fell, the first Deathworlders appeared. Shadows moved through the forest like rolling storms. Their glowing eyes pierced the dim light, their armored bodies glinting faintly in the bioluminescent glow. They advanced silently at first, then broke into a coordinated charge. The humans activated their traps, carefully placed over days of observation. Energy nets snapped into place, tripwires triggered mechanical barriers, and false paths led the creatures toward natural traps like ravines and spiked pits. Every movement of the Deathworlders was anticipated, their speed countered by humans' ingenuity and the aliens' assistance. Arya monitored the situation, calling out to the strike teams. Trap 1 activated, funnel them toward the canyon, Barrier 2 ready. The Deathworlders, intelligent and adaptive, quickly realized the humans' strategy. They altered their approach, attempting to split the defenses. But humanity had already anticipated this. Small teams of humans and aliens executed a series of rapid maneuvers, closing gaps and redirecting the creatures into confined areas where their size worked against them. One Deathworlder lunged directly at a cluster of alien shelters. Rillan Kane fired precision energy pulses, while human engineers triggered collapsing logs and rolling boulders. The creature roared in frustration, trapped by its own momentum, unable to advance without triggering more obstacles. Alara moved among the teams, coordinating actions with calm authority. Do not panic, predict their moves, use your environment, watch, adapt, survive. The aliens followed her guidance flawlessly. They guided humans through narrow pathways, blocked Deathworlders' movements, and even distracted them when necessary, showing that they had learned the lessons of courage, strategy, and adaptation. For hours, the battle raged. Shadows darted through the forest, energy nets flared, and the roar of Deathworlders echoed across the trees. But humans remained calm, thinking 3 steps ahead, improvising when necessary, and maintaining a rhythm of defense and counterattack. Then, a new challenge appeared. From the depths of the forest, the largest Deathworlder yet emerged. Its size dwarfed the others, its armored body gleaming like obsidian in the dim light. Its eyes glowed with intelligence, aware of every trap, every move, every strategy the humans had prepared. Alara's heart raced, but her voice remained steady. This is the real test. Focus, team. Intelligence beats brute strength. Work together. Humanity survives because we adapt. The humans coordinated a multi-pronged plan. Using drones, they lured smaller Deathworlders into natural traps, freeing humans to focus on the largest one. Portable force barriers slowed it, and collapsing trees blocked its path. Aliens guided the creature into a canyon where a pre-planned avalanche could be triggered. As the Deathworlder charged, Alara activated the sequence. Massive boulders and debris tumbled down the canyon walls, blocking its path. It roared in frustration, struggling against the natural barriers, and eventually, forced into a confined area, it could no longer move effectively. Arya smiled, relief flooding her face. Captain, it's working. We're actually controlling its movements. Alara looked at the team, pride in her eyes. This is humanity's strength. Courage, intelligence, cooperation, together we are unstoppable. By dawn, the forest was quiet. The Deathworlders had retreated, wary of the humans and their alien allies. The predators remained, but none dared attack again. The humans had turned the forest into a fortress of strategy, teaching the aliens to survive and fight alongside them. The aliens gathered around the humans, voices full of gratitude. "You have saved us," one said. "Not with strength alone, but with courage and wisdom. We owe you our lives." Alara knelt to meet their eyes. "You saved yourselves as well. You learned, adapted, and fought. That is what makes you strong. That is what makes us all strong." Over the following days, humans helped the aliens rebuild their village, reinforce defenses, and establish permanent observation posts. They shared knowledge about survival, tactics, and cooperation. The forest, once a place of fear and death, was now a place where humans and aliens had proven that intelligence and courage could overcome even the deadliest threats. Captain Voss addressed the team one final time before the ardent horizon prepared to leave. "Humanity has faced impossible odds before. We have explored worlds where no one believed we could survive. Today, we proved that intelligence, courage, and cooperation make us capable of facing anything. The aliens will survive because they have learned to think, adapt, and fight. That is our legacy here." As the ship lifted off, leaving the forest behind, the aliens waved. Their eyes were no longer filled with fear but with hope. Humanity had not only saved a civilization but had inspired it to rise stronger than ever. Arya-san looked out at the alien forests below. "Captain, do you think they will remember this?" Alara smiled. "Yes, and they will tell their children and their children's children. Humanity's courage and intelligence will become a legend here. We didn't just survive, we taught survival itself." In the depths of the forest, the Deathworlders retreated, intelligent and patient. They had learned that their prey was not easily defeated, and they would remain a threat in the shadows. But humanity had proven something stronger than brute force, the power of thinking, planning, and uniting. Back aboard the ardent horizon, the crew celebrated quietly. No one spoke of the danger they had faced with fear. Instead, they spoke of ingenuity, teamwork, and courage. They had done what humans always did, faced the impossible, adapted, and survived. And somewhere in the galaxy, the aliens of that forest would remember them forever, not just as visitors, but as saviors, teachers, and partners in survival. Humanity's legacy had grown again, proof that even in the darkest places, courage, intelligence, and cooperation could shine brighter than any star. Alara stood at the observation deck, looking out into the vast darkness of space. "There will always be challenges," she said softly. "Dangerous worlds, intelligent predators, impossible odds, but humanity has a way of facing them. We learn, we adapt, and we survive. That is who we are. That is why we endure." The stars stretched endlessly before her. Somewhere out there, new worlds waited. New civilizations needed help. And somewhere, Deathworlders and predators alike would learn that humans are never ordinary. They are extraordinary, clever, and courageous. For now, the ardent horizon carried them away from the alien forest, leaving behind a safe civilization, strengthened and inspired. Humanity had triumphed, but not through brute strength alone. It was their intelligence, adaptability, and unwavering courage that had turned fear into victory. And so, the legend of humans and Deathworlders would live on in that alien forest, a testament to what courage, teamwork, and quick thinking could achieve, even in the deadliest of worlds. Because humanity, as always, had found a way.